Now boarding solo flight with Nicole Anderson. Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. Today we have a lot to get through. I have a few experiences I want to share, stories I want to talk about, and also I am trying to get out all this energy because your girl is recording in her hotel room all the way from Melbourne. Yes, this is a solo flight trip. Woo woo! And yes, I'm also doing my own background music and hype music because, there's no one else here and I do not have Justin's pod thingy, clicky thing that he brings. I think it was called a Roadcaster something something. Whatever that was. That was a lot of fun to use and a lot of you guys DM that you want me to use it, but guys, I'm not that techie, so I don't know. Maybe we'll have him back on. A lot of you guys have been requesting for a part 2. If you guys want a part 2, let us know in the comment section. And if you do, what topics do you guys want us to talk about? Do you want us to go deeper into the topic of being torpe? Do you want us to answer more questions on that? Or is there a different topic that you guys want us to address? Let us know in the comment section so that we can give you exactly what you guys want. Speaking of recording from Melbourne, I just had the best cup of coffee of my life. I'm pretty confident in saying that, although I will say your girl is not a coffee connoisseur, so don't come for me. But a lot of people have been saying ever since I landed and ever since I got here, people have been telling me they've been sliding in my DMs, or a lot of my friends have been telling me in person as well that I need to try Australian coffee. So I was holding off for a few days, mainly because I've been hopping from one hotel to another. But today was the day I ordered a regular latte, but I got a milk choice. So we did an almond milk latte because, we can't just have a regular latte. We're trying to change things up here. And I can feel the caffeine running through my veins as we speak, and I can feel it pulsating through me. So I'm really getting why a lot of people are saying that Australian coffee is so good because one, it is really strong, and also it just tastes so clean. And the amount of milk alternatives I am offered here is thrilling for me, at least. I mean, it doesn't take much to get me excited, but a good milk alternative, I can't even speak anymore. A good milk alternative will get me quite excited. The options I get here versus countries that I've been to in the past, they asked me, they're like, oh, do you want oat, soy, almond, lactose free? And your girl was just so excited over that. So if there's anything else that you guys want me to try on my next trip to Australia, because I am manifesting that I am coming back here soon. I have no plans yet, but you know what? It's good to just start early. So if you guys can get the ball rolling on suggestions, keep them coming in the comment section so I can start making a list for when I come back here, hopefully sooner rather than later. Another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, how is the audio levels on this specific episode? Not the other episodes, just this one that you're listening to right now. I ask because I got a DM and she was requesting that she would want the volume of my voice to be a little bit louder. So how are we feeling about this volume level? Is it good enough for you guys, or do we want to make it louder? I also don't want to be shouting or screaming in your guys' ear. So let me know, give me some feedback. The more you guys help me out, the better I can make this podcast for you guys. As you know, I have no experience on podcasting or audio in general. So I would very much appreciate any feedback you guys could give me, whether it be through the comments or if it's negative, maybe just privately slide into my DMs so that I can work on that. But again, guys, please do make the comments constructive. That way we can learn from them rather than just bashing and being a hater. Also, keep in mind, I am currently traveling right now, so I don't have my entire full setup that I do at home. This is more like a makeshift podcast studio that I have in this room. And I am working with a 20 kilo limit from the airline. Plus, I had to bring some gowns and a few coats. So we don't have all the podcasting equipment and vlogging equipment that I need, but hopefully this volume level is good for you guys. Let me know. Otherwise, we can change things up and figure it out as we go. Now, let's take a look back on an amazing weekend that I got to spend with some of my closest friends, namely the blogger Besties. For those of you who are new to this channel and new to our group of friends, we have a group called the Blogger Besties, and there are 6 of us, if I'm not mistaken. Numbers have never been my strong suit, but I'm pretty sure there are 6 of us. And one of us lives all the way in Cebu, so it's really difficult for us to all get together. But we did get to spend that day catching up and unwinding, so let's dive right in. I think it was a Thursday. I don't know if it was a Friday or a Thursday. Let's just say Thursday for the sake of this pod. It was a reunion that was one for the books, mainly because it is so difficult to get us all complete together nowadays if there is no big life event that's happening. If I'm not mistaken, the last time we were all together was for Lorene's wedding, which was already a few months ago. And that's a big difference and jump compared to how often we used to see each other way back. Plus, back then, we could spend the entire day just lounging in someone's living room, being on our phones, taking a bunch of photos and traveling together. But now, those days are long behind us because a lot of our friends, if not all, except for me and Lisa, are all married, and two of them already have kids. So it's just difficult. Life happens, as you guys know, and people get busy. So I'm so happy and grateful that H&M was able to make this reunion happen in time for the launch of their newest collection. They chose the Blogger Besties to launch the Autumn-Winter 2024 collection, and we were able to find a date that worked for everyone, so we made it happen, and you will see a lot more on the vlog. If you guys haven't checked out or followed us on YouTube, you can check us out. I will put a link of my YouTube channel in the show notes and the description box so that you guys can check out the vlog when it comes out. I know a lot of you guys have been DMing that I have not updated the vlog recently. I'm so sorry. Life has just been lifing recently, and I'm sure you guys all know how that goes, but we do have some footage that we are working on, and you guys will be getting that vlog sometime soon. As a quick recap of that day, as usual, Lisa asked me to do her makeup before the event, so we decided that it would be easier to just get ready together in Chris's room before the event. Besides, more time spent together nowadays is always welcome, and honestly, just a breath of fresh air from our regular programming. When I saw Chris in the lobby, she greeted me with the biggest hug, and it felt like no time has passed. And that's always the best feeling when you see old friends. We got to the room and we got right into the good stuff. We were catching up on each other's lives. We talked about everything from work, relationships, motherhood, Chris's life, obviously, not ours. It was so refreshing to just be open and honest about what's been happening in our lives in a safe space where you know you can get honest feedback. After that, once we got all ready, Chris obviously had to pump, so we let her do her thing. We then got dressed and headed down to dinner where we finally were all complete. We took some photos just like old times, and just when Chris thought that she would be able to have an early night in after dinner, she actually snuck out earlier because she had to pump and do all of her mom's stuff. So she said goodnight to everyone, and she thought, okay, she would get to go to bed early. Nope. We all had a different plan for her. We ambushed her in her room so that we could all do a full debrief on everyone's lives before we all went home and went to bed. So everyone was talking about what was happening in their lives and what's going on. And it wasn't that long. It was maybe an hour max. And before we knew it, it was time for everyone to head home. And now that I think back on it, I think it's also because I'm quite a sentimental person. There's something so fulfilling about those quiet moments that you have with your friends. And I'm just feeling really grateful for the time I get to spend with them when we're all together. And at this point, we're already trying to plan our next gathering. So whether that's going to be in Manila or Cebu or somewhere else in the world, we'll figure it out. And as usual, you guys will find out anyway on Instagram and on the vlog. And yes, I am working on getting that vlog out for you guys soon. I also just recently finished watching this new show on Netflix called Nobody Wants This. And guys, if you have not seen or heard of this show, which I think is impossible, it's all over social media. If you guys have not had the time, try to make the time for it this week because you will not regret it. It is such a good show, guys. The perfect blend of the humor and the script, the writing, and how they attack what is so common nowadays in terms of our communal struggles and just so much social commentary that is perfectly blended into the storyline is so beautiful. It basically talks about, okay, I'm not going to try to I don't want to give too much away, but I'm going to try to give you guys an idea of what the show is about. So, I mean, maybe I can relate because it's about this podcaster. They're two sisters who are podcasters, and she ends up, one of them is Kristen Bell, who, as you guys know, was the voice of Gossip Girl. And she ends up meeting this character of Adam Brody, who is Noah, who ends up being, or turns out to be, a rabbi. And it's this podcaster and this rabbi. They're meeting in LA, and then they go through the struggles of each family's familial expectations, but also societal expectations, and just our general struggle that we all deal with in modern life nowadays. And what I love about it is it has been quite a while since we have had this good of a romantic comedy come out, either in cinemas or through streaming platforms. And the characters are so well developed. Each one has a moment, and it's not just about the two main characters. Each character is given its moment to shine. I'm pretty sure a lot of the lines that made it onto the final cut were ad-libs, because even the smallest supporting characters added such depth and color to the story and just made it so much fun to watch. The characters were super well developed, but also I really like that they were able to represent different characters in each of our lives while still attacking, I guess, societal issues, but in a funny way. I don't know. I really like the range of acting and comedy, but also the perspectives that were written into the script. It's so relatable. Actually, what got me onto the show was my friend Kara. Shout out Kara if you're listening. Thank you very much. She posted it on her story, so I messaged her. I was like, oh, is it good? Is it worth it? And her reply to me, because Kara is also a super strong, powerful, independent girly. By the way, guys, check her out on her Instagram if you guys are looking for a smart, beautiful, independent woman. I have a long list of ladies, and Kara is on that list. Guys, feel free to slide into her DMs. Anyway, that is not the point. The point is, I asked her about the show, and she said, oh my gosh, it made her believe in love again. Obviously, that was a joke, right? But I was like, oh, okay, what is that all about? And when I watched it, guys, it made my millennial heart flutter. It literally just gave me this warm hug inside, and it just feels so good and funny to watch. So if that is something you guys are looking for this week, definitely check it out. I will also say that so many people have been sharing their reviews about Nobody Wants This, and I can see why so many people love it, specifically millennials, right? Because first of all, there are so many themes that are relatable to all of us. They talk about issues like anxiety, fears and struggles of what modern dating looks like nowadays, and the pressures that each of us carry, whether it be from our family or from societal expectations. And how we balance all of that. And it's really nice because it almost validates our experiences through the character's struggles. But I also want to give a big shout out. Not that he needs it. First of all, I am completely aware that Adam Brody is never even going to listen to this episode, nor does he care. But I'm just going to give him his flowers. You know, I got to give credit where credit is due. The casting of this show was so perfect. I didn't know if these two characters were even going to have good on-screen chemistry, but I was so wrong. Kristen Bell and Adam Brody knocked it out of the park. And okay, guys, I kind of agree with what Kara said. Adam Brody's character in being Noah, the rabbi, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of made me believe in love again. This guy is exactly what okay, I can't speak for every woman out there, right? But this character, Noah, made Joanne, which is Kristen Bell's character, Noah made Joanne feel so seen and so safe and supported. And it almost makes you have a visual representation of what you expect a healthy relationship to look like. Because yes, they have their struggles, but they didn't lash out at each other. And even if there were awkward moments, Noah, Adam Brody's character, would squash it and really try to communicate with each other or communicate with her. And I just love how safe he made, I think I can say all of us feel. Or you know what? I'll just speak for myself. I love how safe Adam Brody made me feel. And I felt, for Joanne, I felt seen, and I felt that he was supportive and honest. And also, we love a moment. We love a moment where either the guy or the girl fights for the relationship despite other factors externally, right? Like, it was just so healing for my soul. And Adam Brody did such a great job. And now I feel like this is where the bar should be. This is the expectation. This is, if it's not Adam Brody, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be listening to this and saying, it's just a show, it's just a movie, it's not real life. Yes, I do agree. But I think, you know what? Yes, it is. But also, I will say that it's nice to have representation in media nowadays of what a healthy relationship looks like, because it's not just all roses and butterflies, right? Like, yes, they did have their struggles and there were issues that they had to get through. And I'm not going to give it away because I want you guys to watch it. But they worked through it together because they were there for each other. They had each other's back and they were willing to put in the work for the relationship. And I will say, a lot of people will watch this and say, that's not real life. That doesn't exist. You can't find guys like that. But you know what, guys? I will say, from my I don't know if I should say vast, but from my experience of the people I have met out there, yes, there are a good amount and potentially even a larger amount of F-boys out there and guys who just want to have fun and don't know what they want. But I will say that I have also met my fair share of great guys who know what they want and are willing to put in the work to have a healthy relationship. So ladies, if you are feeling like there are no more good guys out there and you don't know what the standard should be, take the time to watch this show, Nobody Wants This, and see how Noah's character treats Joanne. And now you see the blueprint, you see the standard. He lays it out for us. We know, okay, if it's not this, well, at least for me, okay, I'm not going to speak for you, but for me, if it's not that, I don't want it. And I hope you guys feel that way too, because at the end of the day, Who wants to be in a toxic, unhealthy relationship? I know some people subconsciously do, but that is something you need to work on with your therapist. It is not my job to tell you what you should be doing in your life, but I will say, if not for anything, okay, let's take your relationship expectations out of it. If not for anything, if you just want a fun light watch, a good new romantic comedy to check out just to lighten the mood and unwind after a long difficult week, then this is the show for you. Now let's move on to a question that a reader sent over, and let's try to unpack it together. So this is the first time I'm reading this, and let's see how it goes. She says, "Hi, Ate Nicole. I have been your silent fan since 2019. I always watch all of your vlogs together with Chris, Camille, and Lau. I love all of your videos, and I even listened to your podcast where you read the letter from your fans, so I want to share mine as well. My name is blank." Let's change her name. "I'm 23 years old, and I have a boyfriend who is 2 years younger than me. We've been together for a year now, and everything seems fine. Not until we talked about our past. And it turns out that I can't stop stalking his ex. They've been together for 9 months, or I should say, they were together for 9 months. I'm not jealous or insecure about their relationship because I also had an ex of 5 years. But lately, the struggle that I have is that I always look back about the past. I struggle on how to stay present, but every day I keep telling myself to stay where I am right now and focus to be present. I also write on my journal to clear some of my thoughts in my head that keep on bothering me these days. Ate Nicole, what can you say about the situation that I have, or any advice on how to let things go and be in the present? I hope you'll read this, and thank you so much, and God bless." Okay, let's call our reader Sarah. Sarah, I guess, is asking how to be present in the relationship that she has now with her current boyfriend. That is my understanding from this letter. And she says that she can't stop stalking his ex. So what I am unsure about is if her fascination is with his ex, basically her boyfriend right now, that girl, or is the fascination with her ex of 5 years? Either way, I don't think either obsession with anyone from the past is helpful or healthy. So let's try to figure this out. And I'm trying to put myself in your situation and see how I would handle it if I was stuck about thinking about someone from my past or someone from my significant other's past. I think it might help. You already said that you journal. I think it might help to maybe write a list of all the things you're grateful for that you have right now. And I think that'll it'll take you out of the past mindset, and it'll force you to bring you into the present right now so that you can focus on all of the merits this relationship has and why you choose to stay in it. I think those are good reminders. And when you do find yourself thinking about the past again, it might help to write that down too, because then you would be able to visually see what keeps running through your head. Sometimes I do this when I realize I have certain thoughts that keep reoccurring. It's mostly because I'm trying to unpack it, but because I have so much going on in my day, it gets pushed to the side and then I get distracted and then I go back to it mentally. But when I'm able to write it down and see it in directly in front of me on paper, it's a lot easier to, I guess, attack the problem. And it might be helpful to make a list of why do you think you keep thinking about that? Because I think it's normal for people to reminisce, especially if you're more of a sentimental person. I don't think it's unhealthy if you just reminisce on something like, oh, that was a funny story, or I remember when I did that. I think it starts becoming unhealthy when it starts affecting where you are right now and perhaps your relationship or your behavior in that relationship. I think that's when it starts to become bothersome. So I think writing both of that stuff down, but also focusing more on what you're grateful for in this new relationship. And I think it might also help maybe not too far ahead, but it might help to think about where you want to see yourself going, whether that's with this partner that you have right now, or if you think your path is leading you somewhere else, then trying to think of your short-term future and where you see yourself and how you want to get there. Because I feel like rather than focusing on something that's in the past, let's be honest, there's nothing you can change about it. It's already done. I think it might be better for you to focus on where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And who do you want to bring to that destination with you? And if it's your partner right now, then great. That way you are able to shift your focus to a more future forward focus rather than thinking about your past, if that's helpful at all. I also understand that you might have a fascination about your boyfriend's ex in the sense that maybe you're curious. I think curiosity is a very normal human experience. And maybe are you curious because you have unanswered questions? That could be one. Like, is it because your boyfriend right now is being evasive and you feel like there's something you don't know and that's why you can't let it go? Or is it just a form of comparison? Because I think I've said this before, that comparison is the thief of joy. And rather than being able to be joyful and present in this current relationship that you have and being able to really be in the moment and be happy with this person that you're with right now, maybe, and I'm making this assumption because I don't have the information, I'm just guessing, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you're trying to compare to see, what was she like? Am I better? Is he happier with me? Is he happier with her? And I don't think that's really helpful because, one, you're never really going to have all the answers. And two, you're not going to be able to be the best girlfriend that you can be if you're taking yourself out of being in the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, if mentally you're not present and you're not focused, how are you going to actually be the person you want to show up as? It's not even about being the best for him. It's about showing up as your best self and bringing your A game, so to say, right? How are you going to be able to bring your A game if that's what you want to do, if your mind's not 100% in it? Another thing I would say that I think might be helpful is that it might be a good reminder for you to keep telling yourself, or if you forget, you can keep playing this back, that there is a reason that they are no longer together. And you don't necessarily need to know that reason, but you just need to find comfort in the fact that there's a reason that they're not together, and there's a reason that he is with you right now. Your boyfriend is not being held hostage by you. He is choosing to be with you. And I think you can find comfort in knowing that he has made his choice and that he wants to be with you. So don't worry about anything else, because as scary as it might sound, the truth of the matter is, if he actually wanted to be with his ex or anyone else, he would, right? Like, you're not pointing a gun to his head. It's not like you're tying him down in a warehouse, making sure that you can only date me, right? Remind yourself that this man is with you and he's choosing to be with you. So don't focus on anyone else out there, not just his ex, just like anyone else. Enjoy what you guys have and look forward to what you want to have in the next maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2, 5, 10 years, whatever it might be. That way you're not constantly looking back to your past. And again, I think it might be helpful for you to remind yourself too why the past relationship didn't work and why you choose to be with this person right now. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up, and when we spiral and if we overthink, it tends to snowball into a bigger situation than it actually is. I'm hoping that this episode is helpful for you too, or if you want to talk to your friends about it, that might be helpful too. Sometimes, you know what? That has happened to me way, way, way long ago, where it's easy for us to forget the bad things that happen in a relationship, and we end up romanticizing or just remembering the good things. And then it's easy for you to start missing those happy moments. But obviously there was a reason that relationship didn't work. So what I found was useful for me is I ask my friends, I go to my girlfriends, my closest girlfriends, and I say, remind me again why we didn't work out. Because I'm having a moment of weakness, which is totally normal. We all have them. I'm having a moment of weakness and I need you to remind me why this didn't work out. And then my friends will gladly take me out of that dark hole and be like, girl, remember when he did this? And remember when he said that? And remember when he didn't make you feel supported and seen and he talked down to you and all these things and la 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 la. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, that's right. Yeah, that was the reason why that didn't work out, and that's not what I want. So if you feel like you are romanticizing or just remembering all the happy moments, ask your closest girlfriends or your family members to remind you. That way you're better able to appreciate what you have right in front of you right now. I hope you found this useful. If anyone has any other advice, please let us know in the comment section. I'm sure a lot of us can relate out there, and hopefully we can all help each other out. And if you guys are going through something similar, let us know in the comment section too. Let's make this a more supportive community. Let's all help each other out so that way we can all have a better solo flight experience all together. Like I said, we are all on this solo flight called life together. That is it from me for this episode. We have another good episode coming up next week. If you guys did like this episode, please do leave a comment and review. Don't forget to leave a rating on Spotify or on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. And please do share this episode with a loved one, a friend, or a coworker, anyone you feel would benefit from this show. It would mean the world to me, and I look forward to catching you guys on the next one. Bye.